Hi. I like doing reviews, but I don't like making them because they take too freaking long. So I'm going to not try anymore. Except I'm going to keep on doing these for 10 years apparently, because this is the LGR 10th anniversary. Greetings and welcome to an LGR anniversary thing, and man, it feels weird to say that, not just because it's been 10 years and a decade is way too long to do anything, but also because I'm saying it to this particular camera here. This is my original JVC VHS-C camcorder that I used way back in the day to record LGR videos. And yeah, what even is this? It's a GR-AXM225, it doesn't really matter. It's just something that I picked up at Goodwill because it was cheap and my other camera had died. In fact, I had a slightly better camera than this. I think some of my earliest YouTube videos, I've been on YouTube since 2006 actually, and yeah, some of my very earliest videos were shot on that other camera. It was a Canon, I think, mini DV camera with Firewire, shot in these little digital tapes. It was actually pretty good. But it died after taking it to a beach or something, and yeah, so I had to get a camera and I needed it cheap, and this is what I got. And you know what? It just has been a ride ever since of different types of technology that I've used to make this show, and then just figuring it out as I go along. Man, that's all this has been. But yeah, it all kind of started with this camera, at least in terms of LGR stuff. Yeah, I mean, it had the little composite video out right there that you could hook it up to. I think I had an EasyCap USB capture device and ULEAD Video Studio to edit videos. It was also just cool because it had the flip out screen on the side and a little light on the front that I never used, and it had a built-in mic that didn't sound absolutely terrible. Although, here's what the mic sounds like. Yeah, it's also just even worse now because there's the sound in the background. You hear this? Yeah, something's not quite right anymore, but anyway, back to the normal mic. I'm using a Zoom mic now, but it's a thing that I just really liked playing around with and just trying to figure out what looked the best on this crappy camera. And in a way, nothing looked good and everything looked good. There was something about its particular style of creating imagery, man. It was just fascinating to look at, and this is probably coming across even better quality than it was back then, because now I have some slightly better way to capture a video off of this thing. But you know what? It's still using even the same tape that I had back then. I put it in there really quick just to see what was still on the tape, and yeah, it was the one LGR VHS-C tape that I used. And it's still got some footage from the 100th video special, which was a Q&A. And then I think the very last thing I filmed on here was the Fire and Ice Christmas video. Yeah, it's one of those things, man. I used what I had and there was no budget. And I recorded stuff that I had in my room, you know, whether it was computers or games or consoles or just whatever. LGR, it was just lazy game reviews. It's what it was. It was mostly game reviews and done pretty lazily. That's the whole idea. And it really was just a personal challenge to myself. When I started in 2009, it was a personal challenge type thing to see if I could do a video or just some sort of creative something every week. Because at the time, it felt like nothing else was going right. I was 22 years old when I started LGR. Never start a YouTube channel when you're 22. It's just a bad idea. I don't even know how these kids do it nowadays, man. They're 14, 15 years old with their YouTubes and Instagrams and down, get off my lawn. I would have totally started a channel that young if I had the technology and opportunity that kids have now. But anyway, tangent. Yeah, starting in 2009, it was a personal challenge, and doing one video a week sounded interesting. Because like school, I just like dropped out of college, a relationship had ended, a job I had was crappy and it was getting crappier all the time, and like nothing felt right. My car was broken. Everything seemed stupid. And I'm like, you know what? I just want to make videos again. Videos are just fun. So it's what I did. I got this cheap camera at a Goodwill and it just started making stuff. And that was all. There was no other planning. I just wanted to make something. And I had a few inspirations, of course, especially AVGN early on. In fact, that was the whole reason that I kind of got started doing videos again, was after seeing his videos, and then specifically after doing some of my own. It was the Sega CD video. And the review of that went up sometime in 2008, and then months passed, and then when the AVGN episode of Sega CD went up on YouTube, which was I think November 18th, 2008, it was a recommended thing. My video was recommended. It wasn't even LGR back then. It was just like YouTube doing his thing, and the algorithm worked. It was the first time I saw the algorithm do a thing. I'm like, whoa! I think I got 1,400 views in a day, which was huge back then. Absolutely huge. I mean, I was in the single digits. And this was months afterward, and it all of a sudden got a bunch of views, and it was weird. And it was super encouraging, because I'm like, wow, you know, maybe I can actually do something along the lines of what James Rolfe is doing, or Classic Game Room, or any number of the channels that were around back then that I watched. A lot of them don't exist anymore. In fact, one of the bigger inspirations, I don't even remember what the channel was, but it was like a guy who was German or something, and he just like covered Atari 2600 games and other random things in a compilation form. He had like 100 games he would cover in 5 seconds each, and just crammed them in there. And that was sort of the inspiration for the first LGR video, the Atari 2600 Animal games, where I covered several of those just in one video and sort of made a sketch at the end about it. And it was fun, man. That first like year and a half, the first 100 videos that I shot on this camera were the most exhilarating, creatively freeing, awesome times. I don't know. I missed that in a way because there was no plan. There was no money. There were no sponsors. There was no anything. I didn't even have that many people watching. So it was actually really, in fact, here to give you an idea, this was the analytics for the very first LGR video. And I got like 20 something views in the first day. Wow. And then like 30 something on the next day, because I think I uploaded in the evening the previous day. But yeah, like, you know, 50-ish views in pretty much 24 hours was genuinely amazing. I mean, it really was amazing. The fact that I was getting any views at all was crazy. There were some people that I knew that made videos back then, and they didn't get anything but 1 or 2 views a month. The fact that I could get like, you know, dozens in a day was just nuts. And again, there was no money involved. Like if there was a partnership program back then, I don't know. Like I didn't even become aware that people could make money making videos on YouTube or any other streaming service site until much later on. So that wasn't even a consideration when I started making videos, because it wasn't an option. You know, I wasn't doing it for money. I had a day job, so whatever. I was just doing it for fun. So it was just cool to see views, right? Like it was just neat to have stuff that could be watched that was so niche, really. I was making videos about consoles and computers and games and stuff, old software, things that, you know, I knew some people cared about because I visited a lot of forums and things like that, but it wasn't quite like it is now, where I can just post a video about an IBM and it gets 1 million views. Like, what is that even? That still blows my friggin' mind. So thank you very much for watching over these past 10 years, because it's turned into a legit career, you know? Like at this point, I've got this camera over here that is a Lumix GH5S that I use to film things. And oh, look at it, it's all on like crispy 4K weirdness. Like, what is all this about? This kind of tech blows my mind. And like the fact that, you know, I can just film things on phones now. There's a lot of episodes I've filmed on this. It's evolved to such a degree. YouTube has changed so much, and just my own workflow and process has changed so much. And that really is thanks to you watching, and to those of you on Patreon who started supporting. I think I've been doing that since 2014. So that's 5 years. That's half a decade of that even. That first 5 years though of doing this was just... There were so many unknowns. For one thing, you couldn't even get a partnership by the time I figured out that existed. I'm like, oh, I should try and apply for that. Well, turns out that pretty much no one that did game reviews or anything along the lines of what I was doing could get a partnership back then on YouTube without joining MCNs weren't even... So, okay, let's go to the very beginning. At first, I was not even posting on YouTube. It was just some other random websites. There was Google Video. There was... oh man, that one is like Shout something. I think even Screw Attack. I know I had a few videos on there. Game Trailers. Maybe it was Game Trailers on Screw Attack on Game. Oh, it's been a long time. Game Trailers, yeah. But anyway, there were a bunch of random other sites. YouTube was just one of them. But the YouTube thing was interesting because there was a growing, like it was growing faster than anywhere else. So I just wanted to be where the people were that were going to watch. So that was cool. The fact that you could search and see the related videos really got me going. The Sega CD one, you know, being the first really big one to explode. And then the Sims 3, actually, early June 2009, before I started LGR. Originally, it was just like, top 5 reasons why The Sims 3 is neat, or something like that. And that got, you know, 10,000 views in a month or something. And that, again, whoa, you know, it was insane. And yeah, like, discovered there was a community of Simmers out there, and nobody was making Sims videos that I knew of. So I was like, yeah, I'll make Sims 3 videos. And it was just a crazy time of exploration and trying all these services. And eventually I tried out Blip. Blip eventually, or very quickly, really, was happy to start paying people for it. I think I made like $10 the first month on Blip, and in the first year I was making like $100 a month. It was crazy, and that was 2011 or something, 2012. So yeah, that was nuts back then. But then of course Blip no longer exists, and YouTube eventually started letting people in the partner program. But yeah, at first you would get emails like this from YouTube saying that, do you want to monetize this video? It's doing well. Add revenue to it, revenue sharing. So I'm like, yeah, sure. And you apply and put in all these things and say that, yeah, it's all my content. I made this video. And then, like in my case anyway, they would inevitably reply back and say, no, you don't have a sufficient amount of original content in here or something. Just, you know, I mean, point being, I was not able to actually make any money from any LGR videos for years. It wasn't until like late 2012, beginning of 2013, that I actually got some revenue. And that was only by joining an MCN, a multi-channel network. And that was the only way that you could get monetized gaming videos, as far as I knew. So yeah, that worked for a bit, and it was cool. You know, eventually, you know, the end of December 2012, the moment I made $1 more than what I was making at my day job, I quit the day job and just, you know, I didn't even do it. I didn't even like do it properly. I just like called and be like, you know what, I'm never coming back. Bye. And the job sucked. Everything sucked about it. So it was just a thing where I jumped in both feet first as soon as I started making a little bit of cash. And then Patreon, yeah, that picked up in 2014. So thank you very much to everyone who stuck around on there as well. Just, it all blows my mind, seriously. Still to this day, I don't understand how this works. And I mean, I have a lot of understanding, obviously 10 years of experience, but I don't get it. I don't understand the core of how it all works as well as it does, really, and has for so long. If you'd have told me 10 years ago I'd still be doing this, no way I would still, you know, I just thought I wouldn't. In fact, when I started this, I remember telling myself in that first year, I think I had been doing this constantly for like a month, so making one video a week every week for a month. And I remember telling myself, if I'm still doing this in 10 years, I'm just gonna quit. Because that's more than enough time to have a run of any kind of media, you know, TV show or comics or anything. Like, having a 10-year run is amazing. So I'm just gonna quit while I'm ahead if I'm still doing it by then. So yeah, in that being the case, I have an announcement to make. LGR, after 10 years, is gonna continue for another 10 years, yay! Or something, I don't know how long this is gonna go. But yeah, I'm not gonna quit now, that'd be stupid. I'm having more fun than ever. It's exciting to cover so many weird things and have people watch, and like, it's just amazing. And I have like, you know, stuff to film with. I've got cool cameras like this thing over here, this piece of technological magic, and microphones and like lights and stuff. Where are my lights? I've got weird little lights now. I don't even know, man. No way was this even on my radar. Again, I didn't know that this kind of thing could happen, so I'm just super grateful. That's all it is. And 10 years is one of those weird moments of, like, it's an arbitrary number, but there's something about a decade that just makes it kind of special, and that's why I wanted to do something here. You know, I don't really have anything too crazy to reveal or talk about or do anything. It's just, you know, I got an old VHS camera out, and I'm recording with that. And just want to say thank you for watching, and how awesome it is that YouTube exists, you know, and video content creation of any kind. I've never been, you know, sold on this platform, really. It just happens to be the best option. And so I'll stick with it as long as it makes sense. That's why I've left all the other ones that I used to be on by the wayside, you know. And it's just continually evolving. And YouTube as a platform has evolved. Like, and I've seen so many things come and go. Like, There was a point when I started, like, game reviews were the big hitters, and then it was like Let's Plays, and then it was, I don't even know what, pranks and stuff, or reaction videos or something. I don't know. There's been a lot of like phases that we've all gone through, and now it seems, honestly, it seems to be a bit more experimental again. It's getting there. It's getting there. There's definitely it's experimental with production value, or, you know, at least good equipment. That seems to be where we're at now, and it's interesting. It feels like we've come full circle, and at least among a lot of my friends and a lot of the people that I watch, it feels like old YouTube in a way, because we're all just sort of tired of doing the same thing for a decade now. And I've talked to several other YouTubers who've done this for a decade, and we're all kind of like in a weird headspace because of it. It's just like, where did all the time go? My 20s are gone. All this is still going on. I'm still making these kind of videos. Have I evolved enough? Have I evolved too much? Have I remained true to what I, this and that? And is it okay to take these sponsorships and do all these brand deals? Like, there's so many things that go into it, and you start rethinking your entire existence. And man, I've gone through some existential crises, that's for sure. It feels like it's just like a big hurdle that just, hitting 1 million subs, that was one of those hurdles where I'm just like, oh man, what the crap? And you don't know what to think about yourself. You start self-doubting and getting into all these weird headspaces. And then a decade passes. And I haven't even been doing this like full time for a decade. It was a hobby for years, but I've been doing it full time for about 7 years, right? 6.5, I don't know, a long time. So it just makes you think. It does me anyway, and it makes me really excited for whatever's coming next. I don't even know what's coming next. I'd love to hear what you would love to see more of. I obviously want to continue what I'm doing and evolving it and adding to it and doing more of what I'm known for, I guess. But I want to experiment again. I want to get back to this kind of thing, just like pointing a camera at stuff, talking, showing cool things, being like, look at this computer. And I don't know, man, like, it feels like it's okay to do that in a way. Going to E3 was really enlightening, having somebody there with me, my brother filming, having just 2 cameras running it all the time and covering twice the amount of ground. Like, that's really cool. Do I want to hire somebody maybe? Like, he's only here for that 1 week. Like, he doesn't even live around me, so I can't hire him, but maybe someone for something. If it's not cameras, then maybe some of the editing load or some of the other thing. I don't even know what. I don't know. It'd be kind of cool to have somebody else on board at some point, or like, I've still really wanted to build my own studio, like a proper one. Like, this is just an office that I'm in here, and I have the other place that I film, but that's not like a studio. That's just a rental facility. So I would like to have that, or maybe just set up like, if I get another house that's a little larger than 800 square feet that I have now, maybe have like a dedicated area that's like a studio there. That's not like a little tiny, 10 by 10 office. I don't know. Got a lot of ideas, a lot of things I would love to try, and video ideas too. Different formats, different types of topics, different ways of covering things, both that I've covered before, that I want to redo. A lot of old LGR video topics that I should really jump on and cover again. But just fresh stuff. I don't know. Every single video. That's another thing too, that I wanted to do this back in the day. When I started LGR, I'm like, I want to do 1 video a week, and I want to improve 1 thing about the video every week. And as long as I can do that, maybe eventually I'll be good at it. I hope I'm good at it now. Except for videos like this, obviously, where I'm just rambling and talking about who knows what, and having a slight bit of inner turmoil, being like, wow, I'm gonna die. But it's all cool. I just like making stuff. That's it. As long as I can continue making stuff, I don't care, man. Like, all the other things, all the hype and the equipment and all the YouTube shenanigans and the sponsorships, that could just go. It could go away. I would still make stuff. That's just what I like to do, and I'm happy and humbled and grateful as balls that I can do it and get paid for it right now. So I'm gonna keep it going for as long as I can. And yeah, let me know your thoughts on the past of LGR, the future of LGR, maybe your favorites or your least favorites. I got a lot of those. Don't go too far back into the timeline of LGR playlists, because there's a lot of crappy videos in there. But whatever, you can explore what you want. I'm not going to delete anything. Well, I have gotten rid of some things because they just don't apply to anything anymore. But yeah, for the most part, it's all still there, ready for your perusal. So whatever. I'm mostly looking towards the future, which is interesting as a retro channel, but I love looking forward. I can't wait to see what's next, whether it's 10 years or another year or who knows what. Anything in between. It's exciting times. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for watching over there on the Lumix camera. Actually, I don't know why I'm doing that. And yeah, let's keep this going and make more LGR things and just have fun with it. I'm excited for the future. I don't know about you. So yeah, that's it. Thank you very much for watching. Now I'm gonna turn off both my cameras now. Let's see, got this one. Okay. And I got this one right here. See y'all later. Hi, I like doing reviews, but I don't like making them because they take too freaking long. So I'm going to not try anymore.